Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast on Heartlight, on what it is, how we can use it, how do we know that we're connected to it. It's an interesting topic because as a consequence of what's happening in the world today, I think it's never been more important. You'll have to excuse me, I've just got a bit distracted. So let's start by saying hi to Haresh, Bronwyn, Pia, Caroline, Clara, Orla, Cynthia. Wow, there's quite a few. So I don't know what's going on, but if that's better. Somehow I got a bit discombobulated. So does that mean perhaps that my Heartlight isn't showing? Hi, Mandy. Hi, Maria. Hi, Elaine and Yumiko. Seems as though this could be a good topic. What is our Heartlight? It's the divine spark within us that gives us life. It's that piece of who we are around which we build our soul and our body lifetime after lifetime. It's what connects us to the divine, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, and it's eternal. As a consequence, I've now got my husband playing silly devils, saying, hello, darling. Hi, Tony, but he's pretending to be Bronwyn. So, Heartlight, if it's the divine piece of who we are, if it's eternal, if it's universal, then it's unconditional. And if it's unconditional and our Heartlight isn't shining, or we don't feel we have one, or that it's dimmed, the condition comes from us. If we didn't know anything about who we were at a spiritual, energetic level, if we simply allowed ourselves to be who we came to be, our Heartlight would shine unimpeded all the time. Gives us the opportunity to connect to others. And I suppose you could say it's our generosity of spirit. We're living in troubling times. There's not just the pandemic. There are so many things that are happening at the moment. And they're causing confusion and doubt, uncertainty, anger. I'm not going to add any more because it could get too depressing. What stops us from falling into it is our Heartlight. We've now had a few more people join. So now we've got a Facebook user, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, Stephanie and Sarupa. When we stand in our light, our Heartlight shines. But what if we're in a place where we don't feel joyful? What if we're in a space where we can't see light? Does that mean our light can't shine? No. It means that we can't see it. And that's a big difference. Others can. Because our Heartlight is what makes us genuine. You know, we all talk about being in service and what wonderful things we would like to achieve. And many of us do. We don't talk about our Heartlight and the fact that just by being ourselves, connecting to it, we're probably achieving the pinnacle of what we can achieve in any lifetime. Because we allow that light to shine out into a world and help other people, perhaps by being a role model or a beacon, perhaps by just being kind, having a sense of humour, being spontaneous. That's how I understand it. That doesn't mean to say that that's the only way it operates or that that's the only definition. So if any of you have got anything you'd like to add from the perspective of your understanding of Heartlight, then please do. Tracy's joined us now, so that's good. I did ask people what their Heartlight was, and so far haven't really had any replies. It would be really good if you commented on the Facebook page, and I'm going to talk about that as an example of Heartlight. You know, we do the John the Beloved Facebook Lives, we do the Insight Teachings Facebook Lives, we put posts out every day to try to inspire or challenge or give you something to think about. That's our way of shining our Heartlight to touch other people and to help them to recognize, to shine, or even just to accept that they have one. And if people responded to what we give out and shared their thoughts, then the power of what's going out from us is amplified by the people who comment. It's not about sharing, it's not about likes, it's not about followers. It's about commenting, and through that comment, sharing in the energy, and that's added to that energy to make it more potent. I actually considered at the weekend whether I would continue, because as much as people love the Facebook Lives, in between, there's silence. There are one or two, and literally only one or two, who comment. The rest of the time, it's dead silent. And I use that deliberately, dead silent, because to me, what I see is that once a month, the JTB page lights up. We do a Facebook Live, you all join me, there are comments, it's really lovely. And for the rest of the month, that light gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, until the following month, away we go all over again. And it doesn't have to be that way. So I'm asking you to think about that. I'm asking you to think about that whilst I reply to Sarupa's question, which says, is Heartlight who we are at the core of our being? And is that why it's 24/7, even if we can't see it? Absolutely. From my perspective, our Heartlight, that's our divine spark. Without it, there is no life and there is no light. And because it's divine and because it's eternal and universal, it's 24/7. You might think you've switched it off, but you won't have. So how do you feel about what I'm saying about how Heartlight applies to the JTB Facebook page? And to the fact that, you know, there are periodic comments, but they're always in a cluster that's getting in the way. That page is there to send light out into the world. The Phoenix Rising page is there. We set that up so people could talk about what John teaches. And I don't see it happening. I don't see any Heartlight being shared or magnified in those two places. So I've had a reply, and it's an interesting one. Jackie says, hi Helen, sometimes it's better if you ask a question for people to comment on. Why? We all have a connection to spirit. We all have an intuition. Every day we post something on those pages that people could comment on. We don't need to ask questions. Well, once a month you get questions. 6 days a week, you get a challenge of one particular week in the month. But saying it's best if I ask a question puts the onus back on me, and I'm trying to involve people and get people themselves coming together and sharing and shining their heart light so that it's not dependent on one person. As I quite often say to people, if I got run over by a bus tomorrow, what would happen? Nobody's indispensable. And we all have a major contribution just by being ourselves that we could make. I think Stephanie's probably touched it. Fear of being judged. Well, I'm pretty sure some people might be judging me at the moment for even suggesting what I'm suggesting. But when you stand in your light, you speak your truth. And if people don't like it, that's their choice. It doesn't determine whether you are standing in your light or not. It just means they don't like it. So, Jackie, thank you for saying that. But I think that it's important that people don't wait for somebody else, that we allow ourselves to step forward. We need it at this point in time in the world. So Bronwyn's saying, yes, you're right. And we do tend to wait for you to lead the way and are not sharing our heart light ourselves. Instead of seeing what you're sharing, it's an example of how to share. Yeah, all I'm doing is saying, I'm doing this, why don't you? And I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but thank you for all you share. Maybe the inspirations you share prompt this light to be shared on other forums. I share my heart light on my page on Facebook as and when I can. I may not be sharing on your page, but the love does shine. Except that I don't know that. I see the results of what I do. And sometimes that silence month to month makes me wonder if perhaps all I'm doing is talking because I like to hear the sound of my own voice, and I'm not saying anything that's of any relevance. And that's where heart light is so important. I share what I feel is important, whether it pleases or offends, because I believe that we're all able to come together as a community. And particularly now when there are so many challenges, we need to be talking to each other, not closing each other down. We need to be opening up the energy and sharing and debating, discussing. It's hard to have a discussion with yourself, although sometimes I do have a good try at it. Orla says the sharing needs to come from us. Stephanie says John has suggested to me a need to shield prior to speaking, healing, teaching. And that's a good point, because if you put your bubble up, then you've got that shield. And yes, Stephanie, you're correct. That then removes the fear, or could remove the fear. Thank you. The person I call Facebook user, her name's Rachel. Thank you for giving me your name, Rachel. I just feel a bit rude not being able to talk to you. Sarupa, people, it seems, wait for someone else, heard rather than standing in our light. I wonder if when we use Facebook, we connect to our heart light and get out of our own way. That could be good. I've actually put a little video together that I'm going to upload to Facebook. It's just a little exercise to connect to the heart light. I'm not going to do it on here because I really want to know how people think and feel. Hopefully we'll get some a little bit of a discussion. But I'm going to post a meditation that I recorded today, and I've put a bit of a video to it in case anybody likes to have a visual. So Jackie says, thanks, Helen. That's given me food for thought and makes me look at my effort or lack of it to contribute. Thanks, Jackie. You know, it's good to have people share. I enjoy when I see people engage. Whether they agree or disagree doesn't matter. It's the fact that they engage, they get involved, that I think is important. Bronwyn says, does sharing openly and freely without condition build and build, like we all add to a pot of a good virus that spreads? I think so. I think so. A few weeks ago, we did a Facebook Live where we talked about free speech on Insight Teachings. And it wasn't intended that we would talk about BLM at all. We were talking about free speech. But right at the very beginning of that, Tanya mentioned what her experience had been in posting in a particular way, the reaction that she felt she got. And one of the people on the panel, Tandawe, is a lawyer in Zambia. So she understands BLM because she's Black. Tanya understands the other side of the coin because she's white. Tanya said what she had to say. Thandaway explained why it was inappropriate to the BLM people, and we had a great conversation around it. Nobody got angry. Nobody cancelled each other. The heart came out in that conversation. And in that conversation, we all learned something. But we can't do that if people don't share. And if anybody tries to judge anybody while they're talking on this with me or any of our team, they won't be allowed, because this is not a place of judgment. We can all agree to disagree and move forward together. So Stephanie says she's going to look at her involvement from here on in. I hope so. I'm not trying to pressure people. Please don't think I am. And at this stage, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing because I like it. And because I'm hoping that from this will come more of a conversation. One of the things that we were also looking at doing, and we've talked about it on other lives, was put together a place where we could share good news with each other. But I seriously question whether there's any point in adding more to the mix if everything we already add, the posts, the blogs, the videos, seem to fall into a black hole. So I guess I'm putting forward a bit of a challenge. How do you all feel about getting a bit more light into this and a bit more liveliness and having a rare old discussion about anything that's to do with light, to do with kindness, generosity of spirit, to being collaborators in bringing more and more light into the world? Annam says she always feels wonderful when she contributes something to the JTB community. Oh dear, I think we've created a monster, Annam. But no, that's good. And Stephanie's got a valid point. Because she lives on her own, she forgets to speak, although she's very fortunate. Her dog understands her. I know that feeling. Our dog used to understand us. Bronwyn likes the idea, keen to have discussion, to understand more and to hear from others, and all is all for a good debate. So the test is going to be over the coming month. So this is where I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I don't want to create a situation where people feel they have to teach others or lecture others. That's not Heartlight, that's Headlight. What I'm suggesting is that something that we found that's helped us on our journey, as it helps us on our journey, could spontaneously be shared. Or in the Phoenix Rising page, where we all talk about, the theory was that we would talk about John's talks, and I've introduced something and somebody else has commented. In this last one comment led to 3 different streams of conversation. So we're going to split that and try and reorganize that somehow. Watch this space. But in the Phoenix Rising, it would be good to hear stories of how people have benefited from working with John. Not because we want to promote it to everybody else, but just to share and build a common sense of connection with each other, because we've all got shared experiences. Hopefully that's something that appeals to people. Any other comments? Because sharing our heart light is about breathing, connecting to the breath, feeling the energy of our heart, and knowing that no matter how we might be feeling at a personality level, that's the energy that goes out into the world, whether we know it, see it, feel it, hear it, or not. Bronwyn says it's so wonderful receiving, oh no, it's Anita that's saying it, it's so wonderful receiving Heartlight from those who share, and would be wonderful to share that to others. Thanks, Anita. It looks as though Bronwyn's very busy, but in actual fact, Bronwyn's obviously got Anita and Tony sharing her connection. So we've got 3 in 1. That's called good value. How do you feel about what I've said? Do you believe that Heartlight's important? Can you see that, for me, I don't like Facebook, but John told me a long time ago to go into Facebook and to start to put things into Facebook because it's putting light into mass consciousness. And you don't know who it might touch and who it might reach. And that's true. And my very first post was an image of a group of candles, a photograph that we'd taken when we were on retreat at a place called Magnetic Island. And I posted that image all those years ago at the time of the massacre of the school children. That was my very first post. Took me a while to do the second one, not quite as long the third. Now we do a lot. That's what I want JTB's page, and Insight Teachings come to that, but it's what I want JTB's page to be, because it's who he is in his teachings with us and in how he helps us all. He is a universal heart light, sharing to all of us. Do we share to others who might not connect to him? Stephanie said her earliest memories, I'm going to show it. There we go. Few weeks of age, including past life memories. John helped me to put these and my gifts together and to make sense of them to benefit myself and others. That's lovely, Steph. I didn't know that. Thank you. Caroline says it would be great for us to share our heart lights together. Yeah. And Sarupa says it sounds or seems like without heart light we can't build true community. I don't believe we can. You can build intellectual communities, but those intellectual communities at some point will struggle based on judgments of members with each other. If you come from the light of the heart, there's no judgment. There's an inclusiveness, not an exclusiveness. You don't have to qualify by race or creed or age or gender or non-gender. It's a place where it's safe for people to be and to share. So if that's what you're interested in, if you'd like to contribute, that would be great. If you can see John's Facebook page and the Phoenix Rising as a place where you feel it's safe to share something you might want to share that's important to you, then that's my challenge, I suppose. Let us know. Let us know. Are there any questions? I mean, I've rabbited on like there's no tomorrow. Are there any questions from anyone? Anything anybody would like to agree, disagree, poke a stick at? No? Doesn't look as though anybody's saying yes or no. So on the Facebook page tomorrow will be the little meditation exercise. And as I say, I've put it with a video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it helps you to feel a sense of connection to your own heart light. And that perhaps through that, you might be willing to be a light for others. Oh, here we go. Stephanie says she loves hearing me speak. Thank you, Stephanie. I think you ought to talk to Tony. I think sometimes he thinks I speak too much. Annan, I make her laugh. That's good. Sarupa says, am I right to take this away? My heart light doesn't turn off, just my perception of its use. Absolutely. That heart light shines all of the time. It's just us, if we're feeling down or if something's happened that oversets us, we believe we've lost our connection or we've lost our heart light. We're never not connected. We are always connected. We just think we might not be. We always shine our heart light. We just think it might not be shining. Haresh says he agrees with me. Thank you for your frankness. It's one of the qualities I admire. Thanks, Haresh. Frankness is a kind way of putting it. I'm not always politically correct, but I speak my truth. Oh, that's good. Sarupa says it's a relief. I don't know. I've believed or had to that it turned off. It never turns off. Our judgment of ourselves might make us believe it does, but no, it doesn't. So, unless somebody's got some amazing heartlight thought to share, I'm going to leave you pondering that. I hope. Haresh says, my experience of speaking with John is he's always shared acceptance and encouragement. He has, and with a sense of humour. He's really good at poking fun. And that's taken Haresh a very long way. Yeah. So I hope you've found something of value in this conversation or monologue that I've had. Thanks for never being politically correct. And it is an important truth. The heartlight's always on. Don't let anybody ever tell you that your heart is closed and your heartlight can't shine, because that's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Nobody can switch off your heartlight, not even you. That's a comforting thought, really, that no matter what we might get ourselves into, no matter who we might give our power to, no one can turn off our heartlight at all, ever. I hope the exercise that I give you tomorrow is a good one. And if ever you doubt, just stop, breathe, think of something that makes you smile. And the moment you think of something that makes you smile, or think of a happy memory, you will feel your heartlight. You'll feel that glow. But I bet you anything you like, if somebody clairvoyant was standing looking at you, they wouldn't see a glow. They'd see a beacon. Okay, I am going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for being part of tonight. I await with bated breath any faint line or thought that might be in the comments tomorrow or the day after or the day after. Until then, enjoy shining your heart light. And join me on the 21st of June, if you feel like it, for the Harmony 21 meditation, which will be part of the Evening with John. And if you can't join me for that, then the meditation, the Harmony 21 meditation that John will guide then, will be made available the following day separately. All right. Have fun, and I will talk to you all another day. Bye for now.